like me better when I'm with you.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chlo and I make videos here on YouTube. I do makeup videos, I do vlogs, I do lifestyle videos, hauls and all that jazz. So if that is something that you'd like to see from me, then please carry on watching. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different. It's going to be quite a touchy subject for me and something I never really thought I'd be doing a video on. So I suffer with quite bad anxiety, especially when it comes to flying. So I've had a few messages now throughout the past few years asking how I deal with my anxiety on flights. So I thought I'd jot down a few of my tips that I've picked up on throughout the years. One question I get a lot is like, how do I fly with such bad anxiety? And I go on quite long haul flights, and it's literally all from combining all these methods together. I will be honest with you, I'm not going to tell you what tablets I take in this video because I don't encourage anyone to go over and take those sort of like medication because it is quite strong. But I do actually have over-the-counter medicine from my doctor that I'm prescribed every year. So I do use the things I've written down here, but I also do have certain medication that I take. That is just because the flights that I normally go on are long haul and I do suffer really bad with it. It's probably the thing I get the most anxious about. And yeah, let's get into my top tips. The most important thing of all, I would say, is avoid caffeine and avoid alcohol. I was always told that, especially avoiding alcohol when you have anxiety with flying, because the air pressure when you're up in the air, you literally, I think you like become, I don't know if that alcohol hits you quicker or something. And then obviously, especially with your anxiety levels, I know some people get less anxious when they drink, but I know me, myself, I actually get more anxious. And especially caffeine, I find caffeine, like if you drink coffee like myself, you'll know that if you haven't had a coffee throughout the day and you have one, you can become so jittery. And I myself, there's been a couple of times like where I've been anxious in the past and I've had coffee and I've become 10 times worse. So on the day of the flight, totally avoid caffeine. I literally will have like an orange juice or something, or an apple juice, anything like that, and then the main thing I drink is water. But yes, definitely avoid caffeine because it will make your anxiety levels this high from this high. The next thing is better said than done, I know, but is distracting yourself. So this is the main key, especially if you have anxiety, and I myself also suffer with OCD too, which makes it 10 times worse. If you suffer with the two, you'll know that the two go hand in hand and they make one another worse. So definitely distract yourself whichever way best you can. I've popped in some little tips here that you can help just by distracting yourself. These are just my personal things, so I will be talking about myself a lot in this video, but just because they're things that I've learned along the way. Chew a sweet or chew gum. I find this helps so much because if I've got something like in my mouth, I find that I become so distracted. But because I've got something in my mouth, I then obviously know that I have to chew it, especially like chewing gum as well. Or you can take like your favourite sweets or like crisps, like anything. If you have like a sweet in your mouth, trust me, it makes a hell of a difference. When I've been in situations where like I've come to a situation where I'm extremely anxious, I'll always just pop a chewing gum in my mouth, and it's amazing what that can do, like how your brain will just like overcome the anxiety within those few seconds, especially if you're about to have a panic attack as well. Take something from home. So I always try and take something that reminds me of home, especially, this might sound weird, but I have 3 dogs, and one year I actually took one of my dog's toys with me because the smell of it smelled of my dog, and that made me feel like safe. Because my dogs are one thing that helped me with my anxiety. They always have done, and pets and children are meant to be like a really good comfort when you suffer with anxiety. If you didn't already know that, they're like a feel-good like factor. Took one of my dog's toys and I found that it really helped me. This year I actually just took a blanket that Craig and I have on our sofa, and because it smelt of home and I knew that I could just hide away in the blanket, made me feel so much more reassured. So this is one of the most important steps. Remember your earphones. So there's nothing worse than having to use those big old headphones that they give you on the long haul flights. They're normally quite crap and they don't work too well. And when you have your own earphones, you know you can just pop them in as soon as you get on the flight and you're good to go. Download shows and films. So if you have Netflix, myself and Craig have the Netflix app on our phones. And basically, I'll just show you it now. So you just load it up, and the great thing is about Netflix, I think it's like £6 a month, but all you do, literally, you just go into your account. This is on my account, and what I've done is downloaded like some things that I find funny or interesting. So I've got a few Friday night dinner episodes, I've got Friends, I downloaded a couple of films but I didn't end up watching them. I downloaded The Stranger, again didn't have time to watch it, and Forensic Files. If you're into like true crime things, then I'd really recommend Forensic Files. It's like the best thing. My family and I always watch it on holiday, like in the evenings, because also you never know what the films are going to be on the flight. I know sometimes you can look the day before or whatever, but most of the time they're either like something that you don't want to watch, or they have a lot of like kids films. And the next one is the most important tip of all, I would probably say, is drink plenty of water. There is nothing worse than being dehydrated on a flight. I find that if I have water with me as well, if I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack, I just keep drinking water. It does make you need the bathroom a lot, but literally I'd rather that than have like a panic attack. So definitely hydrate yourself constantly. Always have a bottle of water to hand, especially before you get on the flight as well. It's such an important step. I find that just having that little bit of water just calms me down a little bit. Talk to the people you're flying with. So I know if you fly by yourself, then this is quite difficult. Maybe have like a phone call with like your family or like a friend before you get on the flight. Make friends with people on the flight. Let the person know next to you, maybe talk to them, ask them where they're going. It can really help with calming you down by just talking to someone. And also I would say is tell the cabin crew. So every single year, there's been years where like I've not wanted to get on the plane at all, and Virgin cabin crew are literally like the best. The lady one year actually calmed me down and took me to my seat. And if you don't suffer with anxiety with flying, then that won't make sense to you, but if you do, then you'll understand where I'm coming from. I was literally like in tears. I just wanted to get off the plane, but she literally was so amazing and took me to my seat, reassured me everything. And the funny thing was, the lady that helped me actually said that a few years before that she suffered with really bad anxiety with flying, and now she's an air hostess for Virgin. So it really shows that you can overcome this or find ways to help. And make sure you have enough to eat on the day you fly. This is so important because especially with your sugar levels. So with anxiety as well, you'll find that your anxiety like craves like energy and like sugar. If you've eaten a proper meal and everything, you'll find that you'll just feel a lot more relaxed. And there's nothing worse than being starving hungry, because then again your blood sugar levels are lower and then you become like shaky. Make sure, even if it's a night flight or a morning flight, make sure you just try eat something. I know this is easier said than done, because I know myself, like if I have a morning flight, I literally will feel sick the night before, and then like the morning up until I fly, I will literally feel like I need to be sick. The best thing I'd say is maybe eating some sort of toast or something, just so your stomach is lined. And then this tip is quite fun, and it just sort of like brings you back down to normality. So this is something that I find really helps me, is planning what you're going to do when you get to your destination, or say if you're flying home. Just think about what you're going to do when you land, like from all those anxieties that you're feeling and like the worries you're feeling, then think to yourself why you're going to your destination. So especially with going home, because I know that can be quite difficult because you don't really want to go home, you've had an amazing holiday. Think about maybe what you're gonna do when you get home. Like, do you need to do some food shopping when you get home? Is there a certain thing you want to watch on the TV when you get home? I know myself, I was thinking like a couple of nights ago when we was on our way home, I was thinking, oh my god, I really want to put some photos up around the flat, I really want to do this flat, I wonder what we're going to have for dinner. Like, just think of all these things. And the best thing as well, just get yourself like a little notepad, maybe do do some drawings or something. And then obviously if you're going on holiday, then think to yourself what you're going to do when you get out that airport. I know myself, when we go to America, I can't wait to get to the supermarket and get dinner and get all some like little fun things like done when we get there. Have a nice shower, refresh. Like there's so many things you can do to distract yourself. I know it sounds like easier said than done, but then at the time, literally those hours will fly by. Another thing, if you're into your skincare, which you should be, as you know, we all want lovely skin, I find I always take my moisturiser and a nice sheet mask or a nice face mask to do while you're on the flight. It's something fun, and you can, you know, just pop that on. It stops your skin from drying out with the aircon as well. And then one of my last tips I would say is actually maybe have the aircon on. I find myself, if I'm too hot, then my anxiety is getting like worse and worse and I'm overthinking more. If I'm quite cold, then I find this helps me so much and just calms me down, especially when you have a panic attack as your palms start to sweat and your heart starts to beat a little faster. If you're cooled down, it helps so much. And then another thing I'd like to add before I end this video, because it's probably going to be really long, is I myself, my main fear of flying is I don't like being trapped in a confined space with a lot of people. So sometimes if I feel like it's getting a bit too much, I will just go into like the bathroom or the toilet. To some people this may sound crazy because it's the smallest part on the plane, but for me it's the place where I can escape and I can be on my own, and I find this really helps. So thank you guys so much for watching. This was a harder video for me to film because it's obviously like popping my fears onto the internet, but also sharing them with you, because I've had a few messages now and I think like I'm not the only person that has like this fear and this like anxious feeling all the time. There's nothing worse than like booking a holiday and when it comes to like literally a week before feeling so anxious about a flight, when literally it's like a 9-hour flight and it's done and dusted and you're on holiday. So yeah, I hope you can appreciate this was quite a difficult video for me to film, but if you like these sort of like opening up videos, sharing my tips and tricks with my anxiety with you, then please let me know. I hope this can help at least one person that watches this video. Have a lovely day wherever you are in the world. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, share, and I will see you in my next video. If you have any video requests, then please let me know and I will see you guys very soon. Take care. Bye.